order, the crisis of what was the crisis during the democracy 75 to 77? 75, in 1975 there was an emergency, right? And of unwanted for Indian citizen, Indian land. We cannot do away with the without democracy. That one point is custodial death. Custodial death of Rajan. You know what happened during this custodial? What do you mean by custodial death? When police took a person, his name was Rajan, and custodial death of Rajan. March 1976, P. Rajan, finally a student of the Calicut Engineering College. Where is Calicut? That is in Kerala. It means, that the effect of emergency, the atrocities of emergency was not felt only in northern India. Obviously, in northern India it was much higher, but it was felt in the southern, in the western, in the eastern, everywhere. So Calicut, a person name was P. Rajan. He was finally a student of Calicut and Engineering College of Kerala, was visiting from the hostel in the along with the other students, Joseph Chally, Rajan's father, TV he petitioned authorities, and he also sought the help of then Home Minister K. Karunakaran. At that time, Mr. K. Karunakaran's liberty could not be raised in the court. I will let you know, don't worry. After the emergency was lifted, Warrior filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus in the Kerala High Court at Ernakulam for evidence of witness to be clear that had been taken to the tourist bungalow in Calicut the next day. Ventured by as a subsequent hearing, Kerala government told the High Court that Rajan had died in the unlawful police custody. Unlawful police custody. He died during emergency. It is reported, many deaths were reported, but they was uncounted. These deaths were uncounted. But it was published in the paper as a result of continuous police torture. He died. The division bench of Kerala High Court held that Karunakaran, the Home Minister, had lied to the court. उन्होंने कोर्ट से झूठ बोला है. K. Karunakaran, who had by then become Chief Minister of Kerala, had to resign because of the strictures passed by the High Court. You got it? Okay, in easy language, I will give you the part of this happening. During emergency, there were a lot of atrocities. One incident is there that a person named Rajan, he was an engineering student in Calicut, in Kerala. He was picked up by the police and he has to face continuous police torture. During that particular torture, interrogation, police interrogation, Rajan died, and his father made a frantic efforts, so that he can have Rajan back. As emergency was proclaimed, issues relating, क्योंकि basically emergency was there. He cannot go to the court and all. He cannot be his plea cannot be heard because during emergency your civil liberties are being, set aside आपकी civil liberties, आपके fundamental right को दरकिनार कर दिया जाता है. Apprehension के बिना के ऊपर anybody can be picked up and police he can be subject to the police torture. So this happened to Rajan also, and he subsequently died. Then his father, after emergency, put a habeas corpus in the court of Kerala in the High Court of Kerala. Subsequent hearing, the Kerala government accepted that Rajan died during the police torture and the time was emergency. The court was very strict on this matter. He held guilty that this report held guilty that Mr. Karunakaran, at the time he was the chief minister of Kerala, earlier he was the home minister, he lied before the court. उसने कोर्ट के सामने झूठ बोला है. इससे क्या हुआ कि the person has to resign. Who? K. Karunakaran has to resign. That time he was the chief minister of Kerala. So this happened. It is in the box. This is custodial death of Rajan. It is not only one case. Subsequently, many cases were there, but it didn't come before the court. So there were other and more serious allegations regarding the exercise of government power by people who held no official position. You remember Sanjay Gandhi? Sanjay Gandhi, the person, he was the younger son of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. The Prime Minister, younger son, did not hold any official position at that time. कोई उसके पास official position नहीं था. He was not a chief minister. He was not a cabinet minister. He was not a simple minister even. But his position was very high, superior, supreme, and if we compare to any other personality, because he was the younger son of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Yet he gained control over the administration of not only one state of India administration and allegedly interfered in the functioning of the government. So his position at the time, yet he gained control over the administration and allegedly interfered in the functioning of the government. His role in demolition and forced sterilization in Delhi became very controversial. Sterilization किया उसने लाखों के हिसाब से, right? And demolition of the buildings. So his role was very controversial. Nobody can put a question mark on his doing because he was a younger son of Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Apart from the arrest of the political workers and the restrictions on the press, the emergency directly affected lives of common people. The emergency directly hit the common people also, common man also. Torture, custodial deaths occurred frequently. Tortures and custodial death during the emergency, arbitrary relocation of the poor people. विस्थापित करना गरीब लोगों को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह. What also took place, and over enthusiasm about population control. Over enthusiasm means Sanjay Gandhi was over enthusiastic to control the population. Led to the cases of compulsory sterilization. These instances show that which happen when the normal democratic process is suspended. These aspect cannot happen during the democratic process because democracy was not there at that time. Normal democracy was not there, because so these all things happened during the emergency. Now, you got it that many people, they were not holding any political office, but they were very powerful. Why they were powerful? Because many people were close to one person, and that one person was Mr. Sanjay Gandhi. He was very powerful. He was not holding any political office, but due to that he was the son of Mr. Indira Gandhi. Everybody was in fear of him. Right? He was very enthusiastic to control the population. He demolished many buildings. He relocated many poor people, one area to another area. So his role during emergency was very controversial. Next is lessons of the emergency. Emergency तो लग गई, खत्म भी हो गई. तो what was the lesson? हमें क्या मिला lesson? क्या पाठ पढ़ा हमने? What was the lesson of emergency? The emergency at once brought out both the weakness and the strength of India's democracy. The emergency at once brought out both the weaknesses and the strength of India's democracy. तो इमरजेंसी ने ना दो चीजों को सामने लाके खड़ा कर दिया कि इंडिया की वीकनेस क्या है और इंडिया का स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट क्या है. What was the strong point? What was the weakness? Now, there are many observers who think that that India's ceased to be democratic during emergency. It is noteworthy that normal democratic functioning resumed within a short span of time. Democratic process जो था short span of time में ठीक हो गया, right? और थोड़े दिन के बाद democracy फिर से आ गई. Secondly, it brought someone ambiguous regarding the emergency provision constitution that have been rectified now. Now, now, internal emergency can be proclaimed only the grounds of armed rebellion. Now, thirdly, the emergency made everyone more aware of the value of the civil liberties. That all. So, then, what was the politics after emergency? What was the politics after emergency? The most valuable and the lasting lesson of the emergency was learned as soon as the emergency was over of the Lok Sabha election, and it announced 1977 election turned into a referendum on the experience of emergency. What do you mean by referendum? One occasion, issue one on when on some issue on occasion where all the people of a country can vote on one issue. All the people of the country can vote on the one issue. That is called referendum. राइट एक बार घटना होती है तो उसके ऊपर सारा देश उसके ऊपर वोट डाले कि ये घटना होनी चाहिए या नहीं होनी चाहिए. So the most valuable lasting lesson of the emergency was learned as soon as the emergency was over and the Lok Sabha elections were announced. Then in 1977, election turned into a referendum on the experience of the emergency. At least North India was the impact of the emergency was felt most strongly. Basically, North India के ऊपर जो emergency थी बहुत strong face की गई. Number 3, the opposition fought the election on the slogan "Save Democracy." You know, Garibi Hatao was given by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, save democracy by opposition people. This lesson was very clear and has been reiterated in many state level elections thereafter. Government that are perceived to be anti-democratic are severely punished and voters by the voters. So this is the answer. जो democracy के against थे, उनको severely punish किया गया. In January 1977, after 18 months of emergency, the government decided to hold elections. Government ने decide किया कि दोबारा elections कराई जाए. According to all leaders and activists were released from jail. Elections were held in March 1977. This left the opposition with very little time, but political developments took place very rapidly. The major opposition parties had already been coming closer in emergency period. Now they came together on the eve of election and formed a new party that is known as the Janata Party. राइट सो एक जनता पार्टी के रूप में एक नया पार्टी मिला उनको एक जनता पार्टी वन वाज द पार्टी वाज द जनता पार्टी के नाम पे दे स्टार्टेड अनदर पार्टी नाउ आई विल so the Janata Party the new party accepted the leadership of Jai Prakash Narayanan. Some leaders of the Congress who were opposed to the emergency also joined the new party. Some of their Congress leaders also came out and formed a separate party under the leadership of Jagjeevan Ram. This party, named as Congress for Democracy, later merged with the Janata Party. Now, Janata Party made this election into a referendum on the emergency. A single, when a whole country, they voted on a single issue that is called referendum. The Janata Party made this election into a referendum on the emergency. Its campaign was forced on the non-democratic character of the rule and the various excesses that took place during this period. Various excesses, क्या excesses हुए थे लोगों के ऊपर. In the backdrop of arrest, thousands of persons and censorship of the press, thousands of persons were, jailed. Many people even killed, and people were openly against emergency. For people who were against Congress and literally against Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Jayaprakash Narayan became the popular symbol of restoration of democracy. Popular symbol was there. One person was a popular symbol. And he was the leader of Janata Party, and his name was Jayaprakash Narayan. So he became the popular symbol of restoration of democracy. The formation of the Janata Party also ensured that non-Congress votes would not be divided. It was evident that the going was tough for the Congress. तो सबने opposition party ने decide किया कि जो भी emergency के against था, they should vote for the Janata Party. So it was very clear that this part of election, it is going to be very tough for the Congress party. So, yet the final result took everyone by surprise. जब result आया, right, everyone was very surprised because Congress ने अभी तक कभी हार नहीं देखी थी. 1950 में पहला इलेक्शन हुआ. After that, Congress was always the winner. Congress was always the winner. Yet the final result took everyone by surprise. For the first time since independence, the Congress party was defeated in Lok Sabha. First time Congress party was defeated in Lok Sabha election. The Congress could only win 154 seats in the Lok Sabha. Its share of popular votes fell to the less than 35%. 35% से भी कम वोट उसको मिले. And the Janata Party was the winner of this election. Janata Party was the winner of this election. Now, another part is a cartoon over here. In this cartoon, it is written, must be careful with him, must be careful with him. This man who is lying, and he is having, dragger, and another one is some, he's armed also. It is these people, some people is called, they are basically Jagjivan Ram, right? One is Jagjivan Ram, one is Morarji Desai, one is Charan Singh, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, right? They are were the, opposition of the Congress, and opposition of the, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. They formed together. They formed one party that is called Janata Party, and this person is lying on that. And because he is defeated very badly, Congress was defeated very badly, and in one hand, dragger, it is written emergency. One dragger, it is written emergency. The person is Congress. One is MISA. It is written MISA. MISA. Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Next is 42nd Amendment. Then censorship. These were lying in one hand, right? And these persons are basically against this. So our cartoonist reading of who won and what was defeated in 1977 election. Those standing with the common man include the opposition leaders like Jagjivan Ram, Mojarji Desai, Charan Singh, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So here we came to an end of this chapter. We had today we had lessons of emergency. Lessons of emergency. The second part was politics of emergency. Then we had Lok Sabha election. Then what and one was custodial death of Rajan. It was, I told you, just it was a single example. There were other many examples of the, of this type of custodial deaths also. And here last is the cartoon in which the Congress was defeated very badly, and the people united together under the umbrella of Janata Party, and the leader was Jayaprakash Narayan. Next, in next video. Till then, take care and have a nice day. Thank you.